So hi guys, welcome to another episode of What Women Want in Tech, featuring Leah from Unbox, your tech girl Mary, and me, Isa, who does tech. Hmm. So today's episode is entitled and very aptly entitled Ganda ka girl!
Yes! Hair flip. Ay, hindi.
So,
Girl,
Podcast
buti,
pala 'to.
buti ikaw yung nag-intro. Kasi kung ako yung pinag-intro nyo, hindi ko magagawa yung phrase na yun.
It's so Isa, no?
Very,
so, I mean, as funny as that is phrased kasi, our topic for today is all about the beauty mode. And I have
the very
thoughts. I have a lot.
controversial.
Yes.
Very controversial. So, how do we start this? I'm just gonna give it like a little bit of context. As phone reviewers, we have a lot of beauty modes, especially in a lot of Asian phones that come out. Mostly because parang I think in Asian countries predominantly, using the beauty mode is in varying degrees an accepted thing. Alam natin na like depending on the beauty standard of which country you have, 'di ba? Like there are different ways to use the beauty mode. And beauty mode is not new. I mean, we have like yung photo machines in Japan called purikuras that like really put beauty mode. Tapos parang sa kanila cute yun, yung bigger eyes
Big
like anime.
yes,
Oo.
yes.
Yes.
So parang, kumbaga, like beauty mode is something that evolved and that has found its way to our phones. It's a baby version of Photoshop, which we all see in magazines and in media every day. Now, this is a very interesting conversation to have to me because as someone who reviews phones, pero also someone who's Asian and is in a culture where it's okay, it's a little bit okay. I've also seen people harp on the beauty mode and not like the beauty mode. As an observation, I've seen like a lot of Western reviewers not really use the beauty mode or like the beauty mode. There's even an argument that it's not as accepted there as in other parts of the world. So much so that, if I remember correctly, Google had a whole campaign against the beauty mode, saying it creates unrealistic expectations in women. Because there is such a thing called Snapchat dysmorphia, also, where the filters are a better version of you, and then people are using their Snapchat filters and bring them to their plastic surgeon, tapos gusto nila, yun yung mukha. It's a thing. So, parang ang raming layers kasi nito eh. Like, layers from, is beauty mode actually bad? Like, what can we do to prevent, like, if it's bad, like, ano yung standards na dapat natin gawin? Or is it empowering? Kasi, like, I mean, I guess the first question is, and I'm posing this to you girls, considering the fact that it's beauty mode, is beauty mode bad per se that you think we shouldn't be using it, or it's beauty mode? Ako kasi, full disclosure, I feel like it's just like makeup. If you use it right, it enhances
Yes.
you do it for
Correct.
yourself, diba? So parang there are two tangents. There are people naman who believe that beauty mode kasi parang unrealistic yan, wag. So parang wag kang magtago sa filter. Alam mo yun, I mean, so it's paano natin to i-unpack? So who wants to go first? Parang na-go first na ako, pero who wants to go next?
For me, I don't understand why it has to be yes, a hard yes or a hard no. Yun yung hindi ko magets. Kasi it's a tool. It really depends on how you use it. So, how do I go about this? I would say I like that there is an option. And like any tool, we have to learn how to use it. Parang skill din yan eh. Kasi ang beauty mode sa phones, iba-iba yung, should I say, yung tindi ng beauty mode, yung pagiging aggressive niya. And you don't always have to go for full 10. Hindi naman eh.
Yeah.
So for me, like what you said about makeup, I totally agree with that. We are all beautiful women. Every woman is beautiful. But let's face it, to be totally honest, some days we look better than others. Puyat ka ba? Stressed ka ba? Nakatulog ka ba? Or there are things like that. So for me, I use beauty mode. I never go full 10. In fact, I don't even use yung auto. I always adjust depending on my, should I say, how pretty I feel for that day. Uh, to be honest, so if I use it in a way na yung sure ako when I'm well rested, nakapag-face mask ako the night before, naka-light makeup ako, then yeah, by all means, go ahead. But if it's like, my God, hindi ka na makilala ng nanay mo or ng boyfriend mo or ng asawa mo, or if you met these people online, tapos nakita kayo offline, dinaanan ka lang nila, girl, that means sobra na yung beauty mode mo. Bawas-bawasan mo lang ng konti. Ano mo yun? I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense, but it's really learning how to use it. So you still look like the best version of you. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
How about
Yan
you,
lang
Mary?
daw.
Actually, I like what you guys said. I mean, I super duper agree. Pero with mine naman kasi, when in terms of the topic of beauty mode, I hate how people correlate it with the brand that you're using. Kapag naka-beauty mode ka, automatic people will
Ah,
assume, ay, naka-Android yan. Ay, cheap. Parang, ay. And then, when you're like all natural, maganda yung lighting, maganda yung depth of yung field, yung subject to background separation mo, oy, naka-iPhone yan. And the way we judge a person is based on the filter that he or she is using, which is actually very bad. There was
yes.
actually this parang study, talaga nag-research ako, on how many people are, into using camera app filters in beauty mode. And 64% said that never they like to keep it natural, which is actually very nakasad knowing that this 64, I mean, okay, sige, parang um don't get me wrong, you can, there's a reason why it's there, pero if you don't feel like using it, it's fine. But
Yeah.
bashing people who are using it, it's not fine. So parang kasi yung study na to, there are comments. So yung mga comments, mostly guys, they keep on saying never, not gonna happen, never. I'm a guy, so filter something. Yung comments nila, parang, ba't ko ba to binasa? Anyway,
Alam mo yung
naliligaw
energy
na
ng
ako.
yung energy ng lalaking yan is the same energy of the guys who get mad at women who wear great makeup tapos feeling nila
Yes,
kina-catfish sila.
true. And
Like,
at the end of the day, parang using beauty filters is like using the Instagram filter. Parehas yan eh. So parang, kung I mean, very uso na yung Instagram filter and I'm very glad na nauso siya talaga. Kasi di ba very lately lang din yan. Sobrang late lang, ay very new lang ng Instagram filter. And I'm glad na meron na nga tayong Instagram filter. So it's just the same. So parang I don't see any problem with other people using a beauty filter. Kasi ako personally, I don't use it. Kasi nga, may Instagram. I'd rather use the Instagram filter than the built-in beauty filter, but I don't mind or I don't care if someone is using that feature. So yun.
I think it's, how when there was a survey and men were like, I want I want no makeup on women. Ala,
Okay.
apparently si
I,
Mary gusto kasi nawala siya. Char! Joke lang, gumawa ng tea. No, I think something happened to her connection. But we can carry on. You know how there are men who are like, I like natural looking women. I like women when they have no makeup, but then they don't realize that they're looking at a woman as their pegs na may makeup. I feel like it's that.
yeah,
Like you
unreasonable
only
actually.
yeah, because you only hate it when you only hate a certain idea of what you feel like it looks like. Actually, medyo pet peeve ko sometimes yung mga male reviewers tapos they look at Chinese phones and then they say, oh my God, look at the filter, it's unreal, tapos ite-10 nila. Because a normal girl who uses the filter knows that they don't do number 10. Oh, Mary's back. Hello, welcome back.
Hello,
So,
welcome
tinuloy lang
back.
naman yung condo. Yeah. So my point is, if you don't know how to use it, maybe don't have a say in it. And then for you to say ultimately that you shouldn't be using a filter for your photos is yet another beauty standard that you're putting on women. I think that's one thing that people don't realize. Now, women have to be flawless and uphold the same beauty standards that are already there. But now they have to do it without a filter. Now they have to be only naturally beautiful.
I
'Di ba? Like if
don't
you
even
think
know
about
how
it,
if
it
that's
doubles
even
down.
possible.
Yeah, 'di ba? So it doubles down na parang it's that mythical creature of the models you see on magazines. So parang wow, they're so effortlessly beautiful when what you don't see is that makeup yan, photo brush yan, airbrush yan.
It's
And
not
then you have
nearly
this
as
idea.
effortless as it looks. My God.
Yes.
Exactly. And I feel like that's the same thing with beauty filters and people on social media. Parang a lot of men or women will say, I'd still much rather without the beauty mode. Tapos ang ipapakita nilang peg, someone who did the beauty mode pero very well. Gets mo? Like, it's the same thing as men saying, gusto ko natural look. Tapos ang ipapakita nilang peg, yung naka-natural makeup look. Pero may makeup pa rin talaga siya. Because like at the end of the day, again, like Leah said, these are tools. And like what Mary said, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. But if someone chooses to use it, why do you have to impose your standard on them na kailangan wala? 'Di ba?
Yes.
Like,
Ako may question ako sa inyo. Like, how can you see that someone is trying to catfish someone? Is it by like uploading like a really great parang selfie, a really great photo of you with great makeup, but then in person marami pala siyang makeup, ay marami pala siyang pimples, acne, ganyan. Or someone who is, trying to hide from the picture na hindi naman talaga siya. Basically,
I
he
feel,
just or she grabbed the photo lang.
ako talaga, I feel like when you say catfish, I just go for the extremes. Yung tipong you use the fake photo. Because, I mean,
Yes,
okay, girls,
agree.
let's be honest alam natin ang power ng angles and alam natin ang power, not, okay, even without the beauty mode, I can tell you now, I can create two very different persons by angles and lighting. Like I can show you a crappy photo of myself and I can show you like a very hot photo of myself that people actually on the internet think I have boobs. I'll put that out there.
Ay, sorry,
You
tumawa
girls
talaga kami ni
know.
Mary. We know her.
Hindi kami basher, ah. It's just,
Oo kasi. But I mean, okay, personally, ako kasi, hindi ko naman, parang ako, I admit that I don't have boobs. Alam ko yon and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with my body. Pero syempre, when I take photos, proportions kasi yun ng photos eh. Gets? Like, the same way someone with abs, pag umupo, will have flabs. Kasi when your body folds, that's the normal thing it does. It will fold. Gets? So, parang kahit wala, meron. So, parang, so ako, when I take photos, I angle it in a way that people actually believe I have boobs. Like, okay, it has gotten to the point where I used to work with someone. You guys know MJ. Tapos sabi daw ng friend niya, yung katrabaho mong may boobs. Tapos ang sinabi niya, yung isa naming katrabaho. Tapos sabi niya, hindi, yung pink yung hair. Tapos parang siya, ay girl, it
Can I
works.
say,
So parang
the
yung,
person should have led with pink hair, hindi yung may boobs. Ano ba? Sorry.
totoo. Pero I guess my point is, even without, parang if your contention is that it's fake, even without filters, you can present yourself on social media a certain way. So parang it's not that. Kumbaga, my point is, we all know how powerful looking at things on the screen can be and how it can actually paint different and certain stories. So for me, paminsan, ikaw rin lang yung nag-assume from the other side of the screen, hindi naman yung taong feeling mo nagka-catfish. And to be perfectly honest, no one owes you an explanation on who they are, especially if you're just seeing them on screen. 'Di ba? That's why you're meeting them nga to get to know them in real life, to get to confirm what you are thinking on screen. Pero to say that when you meet them in real life, just because you had certain expectations, you are now being catfished, I think is a little unfair and parang it's more
yes.
telling of who you are than the person you say is trying to
Yes,
catfish you, 'di
actually,
ba?
kapag ano, it's basically you. You are the problem, not the girl.
Yeah, parang
Confession lang about angles. If ikaw it's a boob thing, for me it's a height thing. If nakita nyo lang, halos nakahiga na si Jamie. Jamie's my husband. Nakahiga na yan halos sa floor. Pagka may photo, may gusto akong photo para mukha akong matangkad. Alam mo yun, naka-tiptoe na ako, naka-stretch pa yung legs ko. That's how much
Legs.
help I
Para
need.
labas na labas yung muscle. Kailangan naka-stretch.
Oo.
Oo, para,
Oo, totoo.
come on, we all do it. I mean, ako personally, alam to ni Isa, alam ni Mary, hindi ako ganun ka-comfortable with still shots. So I watch YouTubers on how to pose. Kasi hindi, my body just doesn't know how to. So, yung mga,
Vivo has this mode. Vivo has
ay,
this
oo,
Yeah,
fun
yung
mode. It's like yung posing, yung
gagayahin mo
posture
lang.
mode, and then But I mean, okay, it's also really a skill. Like we laugh about it now, but like gusto ko yung inangkin ko lahat kasama
Oo
si
nga
Vivo.
eh.
Our
Sige na
generation.
nga.
Huwag ka mag-alala, konti lang naman.
Hindi na
Our
kailangan
generation.
malaman.
No, parang kasi, alam mo yung
The
generation
digital
ng parents
people
natin.
of
Oo.
today.
Yes. You know, like, have you ever wondered why, when you look at old albums, yung time na ipapa-develop pa yung pictures, medyo awkward yung mga smiles nila. It's because hindi nila napapractice what looks great on a camera because for them to
Yes.
see, you'll have to have it developed. So much so that like that was parang an observation that I had with my mom. Kasi yung generation nila hindi so nung simula hindi marunong mag-pose. Sanay sila na parang alam mo yun, medyo weird yung angle.
Ang
Tapos if you
stiff
grew
nga,
up with
no?
phones, oo. If you grew up with phones, parang gets mo na what looks good. And that's actually, di ba, an advice Dea, pag yung mga videos na how to pose, you look at yourself in the mirror and look at what looks good. Kasi syempre, ikaw rin lang yung makakaalam niyan. But again, guys, it's parang this age of technology is bringing us democratization of owning our image. Ang lalim nun. Pero in short, kaya nating matutunan kung paano ilabas or ipakita yung gusto nating ipakita sa mundo. It's not
Correct.
only supermodels now who will be able to show their best foot forward. I mean, sa totoo lang, catfish, sabihin mo mang catfish, pero if I'm feeling fat in that photo, why will that be my profile photo? I mean, no offense to
Correct.
being, I mean, when I say fat, I'm trying, like, I don't mean like fat, but I mean, like, it's a bad angle and it makes me look
Yeah.
unproportionate there. Because there's nothing wrong with having more weight. If that's you, diba? Love your body. But my point is, if it's my bad angle, like, why will I post that photo? Of course,
Yes.
it's like, diba? It's like etiquette. I'm gonna put my best foot forward. So, like,
Malamang
why are you
pinag-aawayan nyo yan ng mga jowa nyo.
ano, no?
Ano
Sorry.
yun?
Sorry, na-lost ako.
Malamang pinag-aawayan nyo yan ng mga boyfriend and asawa nyo.
Oh my God.
Having
Ganon?
like the right angle.
Oo. Like, you have to teach your partner, girls. Alam ni Jamie, alam ni Jason, alam ni Joshua yan, alam ng mga jowa
Yes.
natin yan. The right
Oh my gosh,
angles
baka
always.
magka-podcast din sila. Explaining themselves.
Kasi
Si
ibabash
Jamie was
tayo.
like, yeah, podcast.
Yung purpose ng podcast para i-bash tayo.
Oh my God.
Yung mga usapan lang nila,
Tapos,
oo, parang isang oras na wala pang perfect photo. Si Jamie, ang dami ko nang nahalikan na floor para gusto maging matangkad si Lea sa pictures niya.
pero diba, I mean, like, I don't know, I just don't get like where the hate is. Parang, meron kasing tao na galit sila. Like, bakit ka galit?
Yes. There are certain
Bakit ka
people na talagang gigil na gigil. To the point na parang magko-comment pa yan sa photo or sa video mo.
Beauty mode lang yan. Parang, o tapos,
To be honest though, before I was jahe pa to use beauty mode kasi I was scared that people would judge me for it or will say, kunwari wala kang pores pero pag nakita naman kita face to face, girl, wala naman yatang taong walang pores. But you know, stuff like that.
True.
That was when I was younger. To be honest, when I was younger, I cared a lot more what people thought of me. Right now, hindi pa naman, digital person pa rin po ako. Biglang defensive. But, I don't know, right now, I just don't care. I like the photo. I feel confident in that photo. I feel beautiful in that photo. I'll post it. Bahala kayo. Parang gano'n.
I think what's important, more than saying that the beauty mode is bad, is that you use it correctly and that you don't allow it to rule you. Parang ako naman, admittedly, there was a time where I felt Like anything and everything I had to present on social media, kailangan perfect, kailangan ayos. So much so that it came to the point na hindi na ako nagso-stories kasi parang shocks di ako naka-makeup today or ang kalat ng itsura ko today. Pero parang eventually I realized the importance of one, it being okay that I am trying to be presentable and using makeup and beauty mode to do that. But two, that it's also okay when I don't use it. Parang I think yun yung pinaka-important na fact na parang both are okay and both are acceptable and both don't entail or deserve negative comments or feedback or judgment. 'Di ba?
To be honest ako din, I think it's also helping with my confidence, knowing that there's such a thing called beauty mode. Kasi I'm one of those, for the longest time, I see the models in the magazines and they're so perfect.
Mhm.
And I look at me, oh my gosh, I have a pimple right there. I have, alam mo yun, my pores
Mhm.
ako, I have oily skin, blah, blah, blah. And then knowing na, ay wait, sorry, in a way, beauty mode din lang pala makakatulong for me to achieve that. Alam mo
Mm.
yung, I guess it's more of my thinking of what's real and what's enhanced. Take note, I didn't use fake, just enhanced. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, isn't that what we want? To enhance what our great features are. So I think, yun nga, when done right, beauty mode is a great tool to show that off. Yun lang
Yeah.
yung akin.
So I think Mary agrees. Char, gusto ko yung ako yung nag-agree for Mary. No, I think naputol siya. But that's fine. Just like in life and our faces, it's not perfect. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Oo, pero no, that's right, 'di ba? Parang I think this is a very loaded topic. And sometimes some people don't understand how loaded it can be because some people have not lived through society's expectations of how they should look like, the impossible standards set upon women. Kasi as women, we're given parang you have to be smart but not too outspoken. You have to be beautiful but not vivacious, parang but not explicitly so. You have to look put together, but you can't look like you put effort in it. Alam mo yun, like di ba parang these are standards that we had growing up. These are things that, as a young woman, you look at, and even without people saying, that's sort of expected of you to do. And then, that's why, kumbaga, merong mga women who grew up with these set standards na develop into other bigger issues. And I think that gets when you say that the beauty mode is bad and you don't need it. I get that maybe that's what you're trying to address, right? The fact that you don't, na parang maganda ka na by your own way. Pero do you actually think that telling a person who's wearing makeup that she worked hard for, or a photo that she posed hard for, do you think that telling them that you don't need a beauty mode or you don't need makeup in that particular scenario, do you think that helps their confidence? Parang I feel like it's counterproductive kasi. Like, edi just say they're beautiful. Alam mo yun? Parang, unang-una, hiningi ko ba yung input mo sa beauty mode ko? Parang, alam mo yun, or sa makeup. I don't know, it's me. Parang, you telling me that is another standard that I now have to adhere to, I feel like.
What you said actually struck a nerve. Kasi, as a woman, I get it na. Maraming expectations nga sa atin. It's not just about our looks. It's really, we have to be accomplished in our careers. And yet, we have to do everything at home. Maglinis, magluta, maghugas ng pigan. And you have to look fabulous doing all these things all at the
Yeah.
same time. And I don't know if that's even possible. I know for a fact I've tried and I've failed trying to be
And
all of
some,
those things.
yeah,
And to be honest, sometimes I just want to you post a photo and that day was particularly stressful. You handled a lot at work, you had to clean the house, and you just want to take a photo and you don't want to look like sorry, crap in your photo. So
yeah.
mag-beauty
No,
mode ka. Ayaw mo na mag-makeup kasi pagod ka na, wala ka ng time.
sobrang totoo yan. Sobrang totoo yan. I think that's another aspect that like people don't realize. Like, it's just way easier for women to use the beauty mode than draw on a full face makeup. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Like, it's really just easier to do that now with technology. And like, isn't that what technology is for? I'm not saying necessarily to make us prettier, but to make it more convenient for us. And to be perfectly honest, like, people who are like dismantle the beauty mode don't seem to understand like the motivations that drive women to do it. Like, I would appreciate more dismantle beauty standards. Dismantle callous
Yes.
comments about my looks on the internet when that's not the focus of the video. Alam mo yon? Pero parang,
May
bakit?
hugot yan, Isa, ha?
Kaya, di ba? Pero kasi, bakit sa akin mo i-impose? Bakit sa akin mo i-impose na naman? Kung sinasabi mo, ang rami ng beauty standard, hindi mo na kailangan magawa niyan. Eh, bakit sa akin mo na i-impose yung kailangan kong gawin? Di sabihin mo sa beauty standard, alam mo, parang the beauty standard is there because you people think it. Alam mo yon? Parang maybe the best way is to disengage completely and to set aside all expectations of what we think women should look like, act, feel, or do. And then when we disengage from those expectations, maybe it would be easier for women to say, oh sige, ayoko na talagang gawin yon. Ayoko na talagang gamitin yon. 'Di ba?
You know what, medyo,
I
I don't
thought,
know if this is a bit off tangent, but makes me wonder na, I can't help but think, meron bang guys who use beauty mode and are they open about it or do they hide it? I wonder what society would think, how they would react if there were a guy openly saying, yeah, I use beauty mode for all my photos. Curious lang ako. Kasi
I
usually
mean, to be
women yung alam kong
perfectly,
gumagamit eh.
I want to say that I think we're getting there because we have, for example, kasi it can be also cultural. For example, in the Philippines, we are a very patriarchal culture, so much so that if you see a guy with interest in fashion, he's immediately labeled as a metrosexual at the mildest. On the other hand, let's say Korean culture, it's okay
Mhm.
for men to dress up. And
And
I'll
they
push
wear
it even
makeup and
further.
it's fine.
Exactly. BTS or K-pop right now, traditionally how they look can be translated as very airbrushed or, stuff like that to other cultures. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a completely different conversation about the beauty standards and the issues that they have in that culture, which I have been told is an issue. That's a completely different tangent here, and that's another thing you have to unpack altogether. But kasi I'm talking about like in general, parang breaking standards and creating barriers. Na parang of what the point here, okay, let me rephrase. The point here is all of this is happening again because you have preset notions in your head and certain expectations of how a man should look like as well. It's the same thing. And if I may tie it to a bigger thing, I'm sorry, Leia, pero I've thought about this a lot kasi talaga. Like, these are things that I have actually, like, picked apart in my brain and have active conversations about. But this is what they mean when they say um, men are trash. The, loaded na, di ba? But men are trash is a phrase that pertains to not men specifically, all of them being trash, but it pertains to society and toxic masculinity that affects not just men and not just women but also men, because men are also a victim. So parang men, if there's a man who wants to take care of themselves or wants to put a beauty mode on or wants to do skincare, they are probably laughed at and seen as feminine because that's a standard put on them. Mas visible lang yung standard sa babae kasi parang, I guess, nandun tayo sa point na mas, parang, it's something we have normalized or we're trying to normalize talking about. But this is also a very toxic standard put on men. I mean, first of all, guys, mag-skincare kayo, kawawa yung skin nyo. But there are men who are like, they were just not taught that. Or two, even worse, they were taught to think that it's a little weak to want to have fresh, supple skin when, guys, if you've tried it, you love it.
You will. Nakaka-spoil
Pero
siya.
parang, oo.
Do it
Pero
for
parang, yes,
you.
like, it's a very valid point that you brought up because the same toxic standards put on women on beauty is the same toxic standards put on men, which is why they shy away from wanting to explore that side of their masculinity. So, ang rami kong
See.
nasabi doon. I think we're
Actually,
done.
I think we have to wrap up. But yeah,
Yeah.
whether ano yun, whether beauty mode both for men or women. Again,
Mhm.
guys, it's a tool. So practice using it. If you don't want to use it, you
Mhm.
don't have to. If you want to use it, by all means, don't let anybody judge you or make you feel less because you choose to use it. So practice
Yeah.
lang. Pero note, almost never mong kailangan gamitin yung 10. Pag nabubura na yung ilong mo, that means it's too much.
Yes, yes. Konting-konti lang. Konting less is more, just like in makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there.
I'm sad that Mary didn't make it to the end. Char. Technical difficulties yon, guys. But like, we'll have them again in the next episodes.
Yeah, we'll have her
Mary and
and
Liz.
Liz. I'm excited na complete tayo. The Tech Mob girls. So there, thank you for joining us for our another episode of What Women Want in Tech. Again, ladies, if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, please let us know. Ano yun, Isa?
You can, ano, sign what women want
Ayun ba yun?
in
Okay, I
tech.
was saying
Ewan ko, I
Wolverine.
made that up. Don't mind me. I made that up. I got excited. But yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll be on Spotify, and this video will be wherever Leia decides to put it. We'll link
Which
it
is
in
our
the
YouTube
description below.
channel, which is What Women
Oh,
Want.
there. Okay, there. It'll be on the YouTube channel. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one.